It's so cold up here in Montana tonight. The kind of cold that bites right through you. The wind ripping through the valley at maybe 50 miles an hour. It's weather that reminds us just how fragile we are when nature decides to show its power. And out in that deep, unforgiving wilderness, particularly in our national parks, that is a lesson learned far too often. These places, these vast, remote sanctuaries, hold secrets. Secrets of the unsettling kind, that whisper of things being taken without explanation. There are gaps in the forest floor, places where reality itself seems thinner. I'm David Paulides, and for years, through my work with Missing 411, I've been cataloging and investigating a deeply disturbing pattern of disappearances. These are not simple lost hiker cases. Folks, they defy logic, challenge established search protocols, and leave behind questions the authorities consistently struggle to address. Questions that, if fully answered, might shatter our understanding of the wild. Our core focus today is Missing 411. It's the number I've assigned to this dark phenomenon, the unsettling consistency where people simply vanish into thin air, often under conditions that seem physically impossible. It's a 411 call. Nobody ever answers. When I first started this investigation, I was looking for a single culprit. I didn't find one. Instead, I found a terrifying, repeating pattern across the continent. A silent wave of missing people tied to the same strange variables. These disappearances cluster in specific geographic areas, often near sources of water. Creeks, rivers, or the sharp edges of channels, a critical factor, especially in cases like the one recently on Vancouver Island. The water seems to be a conduit, a boundary line where the ordinary stops. These clusters suggest a targeted activity, almost as if something or someone is operating with intent within specific zones of the North American wilderness. These aren't random events, they are calculated removals from a hidden hand. To understand this, you must grasp the specific profile points. The sudden onset of these events is key. It's the speed of the incident that chills you to the bone. The missing person is frequently seen one moment and gone the next, sometimes in broad daylight, surrounded by other people. It's an instant, total vanishing, like a glitch in the simulation, where the person is simply edited out of existence. And the weather factor is undeniable. Many disappearances occur right before, during, or immediately after severe weather hits, as if the sound and the chaos provide a necessary cover, muffling the cries or masking the sound of whatever took them. Then we have the failure of standard procedure search dogs. The highly trained canines frequently fail to pick up any scent at all. Not a single trace. Even when the person has only been gone for minutes, it's as if the missing person was never there. Or perhaps left by air. This total scent exclusion is a recurring detail that absolutely baffles experienced handlers and suggests a non-terrestrial method of removal. Could an electromagnetic pulse erase the scent? Could they be lifted straight up and away? We don't know. But the dogs lie. And when the missing person is finally found, often much later, They may be found partially or completely undressed, sometimes miles from the initial location. Why? It's an insane detail that challenges every forensic and survival theory we have. There's no sign of struggle, just the impossible removal of clothes in freezing conditions. Consider the heartbreaking case of Dennis Martin, who vanished from the Great Smoky Mountains in 1969. A 6-year-old boy, last seen behind a lock, playing a game, preparing a harmless prank on his father. Hundreds searched for him. The U.S. Army Special Forces were called in to sweep the area. Nothing, absolutely nothing was found. The family even reported a strange, high-pitched scream that night, a sound that was not human. How does a small child, a 6-year-old, simply vanish without a trace in an area crawling with searchers? This is the kind of high-risk, illogical disappearance that defines the missing 411 phenomenon and suggests a dimensional door might have briefly opened and closed. Let's look at a modern situation, the disappearance of Melissa McDivitt on Vancouver Island. She loves the Souk Potholes area, dense forest right near the chilling edge of the Juan de Fuca Channel. This channel is a vortex for our cases. She went missing in December, and her car, a Subaru Forester, was located near the Souk Potholes trailhead. But the subsequent search revealed those signature missing 411 hallmarks: the cold, the high risk, the lack of immediate signs. The canines failed to find a track. She was neurodivergent, which compounds the risk, and the weather was frigid. These factors push this case right into the heart of a high-risk cluster zone, a zone where people vanish, leaving only their vehicles as monuments to their disappearance. People always ask me, what is the cause? I've spent years eliminating the mundane. And my latest investigation, missing 411, the UFO connection, suggests an extraordinary avenue we cannot afford to ignore. A massive overlap of case details. The sudden vanishing, the lack of scent, the discovery of bodies in impossible locations. These patterns have startling, unsettling parallels to documented reports of unexplained aerial phenomena and abduction accounts from credible witnesses. Think about the common account of experiencers found miles from their last location, disoriented, perhaps in a state of strange undress. The trauma of impossible transit. The parallels are too sharp, too consistent to be dismissed as mere coincidence or folklore. The wilderness is hiding something that flies. Take the story of Alfred Bebee in Rocky Mountain National Park in 1938. A 5-year-old boy vanished from a picnic area near the water, a seemingly simple disappearance that turned nightmarish. Years later, his skull was found, but it was 7 miles away from the point of disappearance, and 500 feet higher in elevation. 7 miles. 500 feet over rugged, deadly terrain. It's an impossible human feat. How does a 5-year-old in 1938 manage that impossible journey alone? The official answers simply disintegrate when confronted with the facts. The only logical conclusion is that an external, unknown force transported him, possibly dropping him from a great height. This work This documentation of inexplicable cases has led me to a chilling parallel. There are elements of our society that do not want these questions asked, that actively work to suppress the narrative, both in the press and on your screens. The Twitter files gave us a disturbing glimpse into institutional control. The FBI treating a major social platform as a subsidiary, flagging accounts for misinformation and opinion. This shows a deep, systemic desire to curate public thought. I ask you, when did the FBI's mission shift from suppressing crime to suppressing information? This is the creation of a rift in trust. And if the government can control the narrative about the news, it can certainly control the questions we ask about missing 411 and the true nature of the wilderness. My goal remains simple: to keep talking, to keep documenting, and to keep forcing the discussion out into the open. Because silence is what allows these clusters to grow, and what keeps the families suffering in the dark. We need people to be uncomfortable with the current explanations. We need people to research the cases, watch the films, and spread the data everywhere. Challenge the official story. Be active. Folks, monitor the decisions being made in your local communities and pay attention to what the mainstream is ignoring. Because when we stand back, we allow a reality to take hold that our children will look back on and ask, what did Grandpa or Grandma do? You are the reason this work continues. You have a great week. And please, be safe out there. And remember to look closer. Always look closer.